I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. We got Billy to the rodeo yesterday.
I'm now officially a cowboy. Probably not. Dude, we had a blast yesterday.
Oh, 100%. And go to x.com/Jeff Hunt if you want to see the video.
I haven't seen the video yet. I'm a little worried. But I'm so excited because I am a fool in public. It is fantastic.
Well, I got family members from you commenting on it.
Hey, all right. Good. I'm glad they've seen it already.
Let's see here. Let me pull this up. It was on. I tagged you on Facebook.
Oh, good. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Joni.
Oh, my aunt. Yeah.
Joni, your aunt.
Yeah, that's my aunt.
Commented.
Yeah.
Here's what she wrote. This is priceless. Good laughter. You guys are just nuts. That's my nephew, and I'm darn proud of it.
Yeah, she is the youngest of the 5 kids. My dad's the oldest, and she was the youngest. And growing up, she was the cool babysitter. That's who she was. So it was that, I rode around. She used to drive a red Volkswagen Bug that, you remember the label makers back in like the 80s? They kind of chunk in the white, it's like a tape, and then have white. She would have these little phrases tagged all over because she had a label maker, and her friends would come in and go and make phrases and do it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And so riding around in her Bug, listening to music, and, just hanging out, she's really neat. And sometimes, encourage some of my more ridiculous ideas. She's like, that sounds like fun. So I love her.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Ran into former state rep Mike Lynch.
Yeah.
I was minority leader for a bit.
That was nice.
That was fun. So we had a great time. You can go check it out. Just a bunch of ridiculousness at x.com/Jeff Hunt.
The expansion blew me away.
Dude, it's like next level.
That is incredible. And if that's where they're going with what the National Western Stock Show is going to be, we as Coloradans have a ton to look forward to because they are not cutting corners. The whole paddock for all of the animals that are going to be sold, all the animals that are brought in, they're going out for auction, that paddock is serious. That thing is luxury. It is fantastic as far as space, as far as availability, what you can do, how close it is. We went in and saw the arena where they're auctioning off all the steers and things. Those were fantastic. They really are laying into it. CSU has a little place down there, and yeah, with the new construction, the new area, they are doing this thing right. This is something Colorado's got to hang on to because if this is the direction they're going, this thing's going to be better and better and better. I had such a blast yesterday. It was great.
It is fantastic. It's just a few more days. The National Western Stock Show is, so make sure you get down there and enjoy it. It is a wonderful time with family. Lots of kids around. Yeah. We even got a kid to lasso.
Yes.
Bill Thorpe.
In the middle of the aisle, he lassoed me.
And this guy was just playing with his rope, so I go up and I go, can you lasso Bill? And then the dude started swinging it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you are in so much trouble. This is not like a...
Not at all, yeah. He knew what he was doing. He's a middle schooler. And he might weigh 70 pounds. He might. And he grabs that rope. And at first I'm like, okay, I'm thinking like, I'm thinking like cartoon cowboy, like whoosh, whoosh, here. He like starts whip, whip, whip. And I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to hurt when it hits me. And it didn't really, but he nailed me. He was fantastic.
Bill and I found ourselves in bed together, too.
Yes, we did.
Go to x.com/Jeff Hunt if you want to watch all the
such a blast
frivolity that took place there.
Yeah.
It is through Sunday. So, nationalwestern.com, nationalwestern.com.
Yes, down.
Do you hear the Wolves calling tonight?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
not in my area.
That's because Colorado's halting them.
Uh-oh.
Big news. Denver Gazette reporting Colorado halts wolf releases for 2026 as federal pressure mounts. Yeah, it's not just the federal pressure. It's that the whole thing is collapsing. Is it finally dying the death it should? It was terrible what we did to these wolves. We'll cover that and more. We're also going to talk about Davos. We're going to talk about a new tip line for reporting crime done by federal officers in Colorado. It's like the most Colorado thing out there. We have a tip line to report. Oh, federal law enforcement officers.
Yeah. The thing for
doing
me is,
suspicious things.
This is where, and this leans into some of the conversation we started with, this is where the side of me that loves to make mischief and make things difficult kind of fills in, because you give me an open tip line, my first indication is to call with the most BS thing I've ever seen, and then hang up and call again. And then call again. I would block out 15 to 20 minutes a time, several times a day, to make several calls, just because the idea of, we need a tip line, and that's how we're going to find out. Shut up. It's all about self-reporting and everything else. There are other ways, there are better ways, and that's what I like.
It's not like we all don't have cameras in our pockets these days.
And couldn't make a complaint, and we couldn't, forward it to the right officials. It's, for me, doing something like rolling out a tip line is the path of least resistance. It is the absolute minimum that anybody in charge can do to still appear as if they care. They're not going to do absolutely anything other than set up a voicemail that some intern or some low-paid flunky has to check. That's it. This is stupid. And yeah, I'm not openly encouraging you to call in with stuff that's not true, but it might happen. Just saying, maybe.
They also tried to do a tip line at one point to report any ICE activities, and I think that got flooded. So I don't know. As guys that have a phone number that you can call and do silly things on, let me just tell you, it happens on a daily basis. Yes. That phone number here, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. We'll also talk with Dustin Zavonik, Common Sense Institute. What's really causing homelessness in Colorado? Lots to cover. Now, though, it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Thursday morning. It's 19 and clear and cold in Denver. Expecting a high of 39 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, more details about the DUI arrest of Aurora City Councilman Rob Andrews, who was pulled over by police Saturday night near South Chambers and South Chambers Circle. Officers said that he made an illegal left turn and was weaving across lanes of traffic before he was stopped. And a breath test showed that Andrews' breath alcohol level was 0.252, more than 3 times the legal limit in Colorado. Andrews cited for suspicion of DUI, driving with excessive alcohol content, and 2 other charges. He's set to appear in court March 9th. This is who Aurora voted for instead of Danielle Jurinsky.
That's exactly right. And Blake, yesterday, Billy took part in the Rob Andrews Memorial drunk driving test.
Oh, is that right? At the fair, at
the National Western.
Awesome. How did he do?
Put the drunk goggles on and tried to walk a line.
Is that on your feed?
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh, I got to check that out.
It is really funny and did a terrible job, just like Rob Andrews.
That's exactly right. And he wasn't going to kill anybody with the potential to kill someone.
Billy just killing people with laughter.
That's right. Exactly. Our stomachs hurt because of Billy in the morning.
Thank you.
From the laughter. Absolutely.
And now to bring the Board of Peace into full force, I ask Sheikh Isa of Bahrain and Foreign Minister Barita of Morocco to join me in signing and ratifying the Board of Peace Charter. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, this morning in Davos, the Board of Peace is official. DJT says the board will lead to the rebuilding of the Gaza Strip. The new international body proposed by 47 and approved by the UN will oversee the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. And that's just to name one objective.
Numerous other things. Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do, and we'll do it in conjunction with the United Nations. You know, I've always said the United Nations has got tremendous potential, has not used it, but there's tremendous potential in the United Nations, and you have some great people at the United Nations, but so far it hasn't. You know, on the 8 wars that I ended, I never spoke to the United Nations about any of them. And you would think that I should have. You would think they could have done those 8 wars, but they couldn't have. And they tried, I guess, in some of them, but they didn't try hard enough. But there's tremendous potential with the United Nations. And I think the combination of the Board of Peace with the kind of people we have here.
he says will help in this effort. And the leaders on the stage were called out by 47.
Great. They're friends of mine. I think, let me see. Yeah, every one of them is a friend of mine. A couple I like, a couple I don't like. No, I like, actually, at this group, I like every single one of them. Can you believe it? Usually I have about 2 or 3 that I can't stand. Usually I have 2 or 3 that I don't like. I don't find them up here. I like every one of these people. No, they're great people. They're great leaders. And
oh, man, it's just entertainment every time he goes to the stage. So we're not going to attack Greenland. The NATO chief and the president have struck a deal. VPJD and Marco Rubio, they'll iron out all the details, and a win for the U.S. and the West. Susan Kokenda says once again the globalists, including the Canadian government, are exposed.
And this is where the Greenland story exposes the lie. They strut around Davos claiming moral superiority against an unprincipled United States. But their system, the system of the British Crown and the other European empires repackaged as the EU, is anti-human to its core. Denmark's treatment of Greenland proves that their view of population hasn't changed. Whether it's forced sterilization or the deindustrialization of Germany, or the suppression of economic development in Africa, or endless wars in the Mideast and Europe, it's all the same. Less people, less growth, less life. Carney calls this a rupture. Well, he's right. It is a rupture from their system of death. And thank God Donald Trump came along to be the disruptor.
All right, back in D.C., former special counsel Jack Greasy Smith is set to testify publicly before the House Judiciary Committee today about all the crap that he ginned up about the president and J6 and alleged mishandling of classified documents, and obtained 2 indictments against him, but dropped the cases after 47 won a second term. This guy is one of the dirtiest of the deep state. Democratic Senator Mark Kelly says he is seriously considering running for president in 2028. Isn't that exciting? One of his competitors, of course, will be Gavin Newsom, who is in Davos as well. Broncos with a big practice today in preparation for Sunday's AFC Championship game against the Patriots. Bo Nix speaks for the first time via social media. He wrote after having surgery a couple days ago, quote, the last few days can be hard to be put into words. What started as one of the most exciting games I've ever been a part of ended with some of the most devastating football news I've ever received. This is not how I imagined the season would come to an end, but our season has been defined by overcoming adversity and responding to it. Nix continued, I can't express how much this team and organization mean to me and how much I believe in them. I couldn't be more proud of our guys and more confident in Jarrett and more excited for what's next. Now, the best part of this, one of the other things he said is God never says oops. Boy, isn't that the truth? And he's always good. Amen. The Avalanche on the ice last night against the Anaheim Ducks.
If he scores, Anaheim wins. And Anaheim wins.
What a victory. Incredible effort.
Goes to an overtime shootout, and the Ducks win it 2-1 the final. 18 in Lakewood, 17 in Broomfield, 19 in Denver. Oh, Billy, you know what? You mentioned label makers.
Yes.
Label makers. Yeah, remember those things?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you a little trivia here.
Oh, yeah, what?
What do you know? It's always interesting to me that you still see this. There is one NFL team that still uses the label makers on the back of the helmet to put their names on the back of the helmet.
Oh, really?
Yes. Can you tell me which team?
Oh, I don't, but I would have to think it would probably be someone like the Browns, just because of the Browns.
Good,
but yeah.
Good guess. Ooh. Good guess. Tradition team. And they put it vertically on the back of their helmet.
Is it the Jets?
it would be the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, the Cowboys. That's
They've
interesting.
been doing it forever. And
Really?
I was watching, I don't know, maybe week 15. I'm like, oh my God, they're still using the label maker on the back of the helmet. It's cool.
Wow, that's
Pretty
interesting.
cool.
I wonder
So-
if Jerry Jones is just trying to save a little money. He's like, do you have
I
any
think-
idea how much this stadium
I
costs?
think so.
Yeah, I don't replace that. We're cutting costs here. Yes.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
one of those little things. I mean, in a league that you have to do everything uniform.
Oh, yeah.
It's their one little thing that
That's nice. I will look for it now, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm here to serve. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
The Arctic Express is going to graze the Front Range and Eastern Plains of Colorado here late this week and over the weekend. Be prepared for some winter temperatures, but not for today. We're going to be mid to upper 40s, upper 30s tomorrow, and teens tonight. The cold air begins to leak in Thursday night. Much colder. Lows 5 to 10 with areas of flurries. Very cold Friday. Cold northeast winds. Highs only teens with some areas of light snow. Some areas of light snow. Lows near zero Friday night. High Saturday only teens with areas of light snow. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Colorado halts wolf release for 2026. Denver Gazette. This is big news. Colorado Parks and Wildlife facing mounting criticism from the Trump administration over its management of the wolf reintroduction program announced Wednesday they will not bring in any new wolves to the state for the 2026 winter season. So right now they're paused. They've done 25 of them. 11 of them have died. So that leaves, 14 left out there? CPW was turned down in November by Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. Washington's like, nah, you ain't getting our wolves. You're not doing a good job with them. And Washington residents criticized Colorado for mismanaging the program. That is correct. Then CPW Director Jeff Davis resigned in lieu of termination a few weeks later. He's now up in Wyoming. He's their wildlife director up in Wyoming. The CPW announcement didn't mention the pushback the agency is getting from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. Thank you, Greg Lopez, for figuring this out, which on December 18th demanded Colorado provide a complete report of all gray wolf conservation and management activities between December of 2023 and the day the first wolves from Oregon were released in Colorado to present. Failed to do so, warned Brian Nesvik, the head of U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, and the federal government would terminate Colorado's authority to manage them all. And then basically said, well, we may just go out there and shoot them. We may relocate them. We don't know yet. Whoa! So Colorado at this point, they're stopping this. Ballot box biology finally ran into the brick wall, where you hand this to the voters and people who have no idea what they're doing with regards to wildlife management got to vote on it, and it became a disaster. Everybody that lives in these parts was going, don't do this. This is a disaster. Please don't do this. And then the nitwits in Boulder and Highlands Ranch and the rest went, you know it's a good idea? Let's just put wolves where people don't want them. Lo and behold, they went to go and spend millions of dollars doing this, way more than they originally planned. And I've always been amazed at how the quote compassionate side of the libs played out on this. Could you imagine being a wolf, hanging out with your pack, enjoying some nice caribou up in Canada? Everything's awesome. Then you get tranked. Some guy with a badge shows up, throws you in a cage, flies you thousands of miles south, drops you off. You have no idea where you are. Your friends aren't around anymore. And then all of a sudden, there's just cows standing there. You go to eat the cow, and they shoot you for it. Yeah, this whole thing was a disaster. This is another step towards what will be the eventual termination of the wolf reintroduction process from my perspective. Bill, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's probably smart for them, given some of the federal pushback, to pause, because even if they are not looking at changing or doing anything or acquiescing to the demands of the administration, at least it gives them the coverage of appearance. So I understand strategically why they're doing this. As we've outlined, I think they've made things wrong. They've made bad choices. But yeah, I understand that the Canadian wolves may want to get back to their territory once brought here, but they also face a lack of competition for prey, and some of the prey hasn't seen them before. So surprise! And that's, the antelope and the elk and other things like that. So hunting might be a touch easier at first until you get into the into the ecosystem and establish yourselves a little bit more. I just think that the program was, at the chorus, Greg Lopez has shown, just mishandled. It was the way they went about it. They made it too difficult for the ranchers to make claims about the wolves. They didn't, I believe they underestimated the amount of predation that was going to happen that should have been anticipated. And, I also think that one of the not the cardinal sins, but one of the really, really bad things that those running the wolf reintroduction program have done was to take animals that had preyed on livestock and then reintroduce them back into the wild. And that is a problem, I believe, for the larger portion of Coloradans that may support this, because that was one of the agreements, that when this was going to be implemented, if these animals did go ahead and prey on the ranch livestock, they were going to be removed from the population and from the ecosystem. They would not be allowed to do that again. And all of us have had those stories when we were little that, once the tiger gets a taste for human flesh, you can't stop him from hunting the humans. We've all heard that. And that's the reason that they talk about, sometimes euthanizing bears and other things. Once bears figure out that humans are a food source, they come and hang out with the humans. Same thing with the wolves. That is something that in Colorado you've had an experience with wild animals. And when those running the wolf program decided to take those predatory animals that went after livestock and reintroduce them into the ecosystem, it's hard for anybody who may agree with the wolf introduction program to defend it. It becomes nearly impossible to defend it because one of the actual outlined rules of the program has been violated by the people running it. So that's part of when the people running it are willing to violate those basic rules that the Coloradans agreed upon, and they didn't understand that this was already a tenuous issue in the state. That was stupid. And this, in many ways, this problem is laid at your own feet from the decisions that you made. We've had guests on the show that have outlined people in charge making absolutely horrible decisions and how there were camps that formed. And it became more of a political thing than actually adhering to what the rules were going to be and then evaluate the program based on the rules. But they didn't. They decided to break the rules. And that is what I think is going to be the hardest thing for them to overcome, is the idea that one of the big things that you said was so important to move these animals out of the ecosystem, if they started to understand that the ranch livestock was prey, that's important to get them out of the ecosystem, and you broke the rule. So if you can't follow that simple rule, why are we going to assume you're going to follow any other rules? Why are we going to assume you can get any of this right if you can't follow that one?
And a reminder, nobody was advocating that the minute that a wolf put its paw over the border from Wyoming into Colorado, that the wolf ice team had to sweep it up and deport it back.
I like that, yeah.
But what this was a concerted effort to spend a lot of taxpayer dollars to pull together packs of wolves and then dropped them into places where people didn't want them. And go, stop this. It was engineering. It was leftist, stupid, environmental engineering that the folks that actually manage this, the wildlife folks, the experts, the ranchers, kept saying this is not going to work. And I go back to this term again, ballot box biology. We put the decision in the hands of somebody in an apartment in Boulder or the Rhino District to be able to determine whether or not we should bring these wolves in, and it just was a stupid thing to do. We have experts with regards to wildlife management in this state. We should allow them to do their job and not mandate them to do things from people who have no experience whatsoever. Text messages hot coming in on this one. Jason in Denver, your description reminds me of the My Cousin Vinny scene with the deer.
Yeah.
Little deer. Going down for a drink. Then
Oh,
bam,
great.
it's brains blown. Joan from Lakewood. Jeff, it sounds like describing how the left views adding open borders when you discuss wolf reintroduction. Yeah, just move people around and then surprise things happen. 8422. This is the Colorado style. We implement some program that the state can't afford. Spend a fortune doing it. Screw it up. And then spend another fortune trying to fix the problem that the state created. And then we pat ourselves on the back for being so woke. Not to mention the whole program is inhumane. 8422 with the text messages. Well, join the conversation. Here's where I think this goes. I think we're at the very end of this little road. We'll see what they do with the current wolves here. But I think the threat from the feds that we may just come in and shoot them at this point is getting everybody to go, all right, let's figure out a way to get these guys out of here. And these poor wolves are going to be taken out to a third location. So that's where I think this goes. I don't think it can be saved. I think the pros that were involved with this have checked out. You're seeing them resign from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. I think this is the end of this program. Am I wrong? Do you think it can be resurrected? Is it important? Part of our ecosystem. Let's not give up, guys. Let's try one more time. 303-696-1971 is the phone number. 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line 720-819-5115. Let's talk Colorado Christian University, faith, family, freedom. These values define the American tradition and are increasingly under attack. The Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University is dedicated to remaining a committed voice for Christian conservative principles. Through their public events, publications, and student initiatives, they are committed to delivering world-class programming that empowers citizens of all ages to stand boldly for conservative values and engage with the pressing issues of the day with grace and truth. The need to promote principled conservatism and train the next generation of conservative leaders to speak with moral clarity and conviction is more urgent than ever. Join the Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University in their work to recommit the culture to faith, family, freedom, and future. Learn more at centennial.ccu.edu, centennial.ccu.edu. Again, the headline from the Gazette: Colorado halts wolf release for 2026 as federal pressure mounts. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Headline from the Denver Gazette: Colorado halts wolf release for 2026 as federal pressure mounts. Text messages are awesome on this one. Jason has got to be a bit of a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, he is.
On our text messages. If a wolf has a pup in Colorado, will the pup get deported back to Wyoming, or is it allowed to stay?
I don't know. It depends.
Is that an anchor pup?
Anchor pup, yes. That is good. That's good, Jason. Nicely done.
What makes this program so fabulous, 8422 text in, is that 90% of it was in the name of the first husband, or whatever you call that political position. Yeah, Marlon Reese. When he was at the State of the State, he had a little dog in his lap.
Oh, yeah, that was shouted out. Yeah, I don't know. I was texting back to the to our friend there on the 8422 that I think that it was a mistake making Reese the point man on that one, because it makes it appear as if it's a pet project of someone that
Hillary
isn't.
care.
That's exactly where I was going with this, is that I looked at it, and the weird part is, how could Democrats that were around at that time make the same strategic mistake? And I still think that part of that with making Hillary in charge of the healthcare reform under Clinton is part of the leftover resentment that was a very strong headwind when she was trying to run for president, because a lot of people still had leftover hard feelings because of what they saw her try to do then, and they weren't willing to give her that much power to go forward. And I can't believe that the Colorado Democrats would make that tactical mistake, but here we are. They did.
Joan from Lakewood: I think the wolf program's dead. It's also a sign that the cowboy culture is coming into favor. Have you seen those commercials with Christy Nome?
I wonder. I understand the idea of thinking that it's dead. I don't know. And this is the only thing that I'm saying, is that I think it is reasonable to believe that there are a number of politically connected movers and shakers here in Colorado that want this thing to continue. That there is a little bit of a Polis legacy. There are some other people that wanted this implemented in the first place. And I wonder if they are just trying to tread water until the political landscape changes. Now, that's difficult because you can pause for this year, then you're just trying to do something for the next 2. Do they think that they've got 24 months of being able to languish or do nothing? Or, that's the idea, is can they navigate the 24 months after this year and still keep that wolf program around if it's important to them? And so I don't know. Again, I don't know the people that are planning, but I can see people, if it's really important to them and they think this needs to happen, how they would make it feel like much less of a priority, even pausing it for 3 years. And then, surprise, after the next presidential, it comes back because the political winds may have changed. I'm just curious. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think they'll have a hard time proving this can work. 5695, this is a perfect example. Oh, Joe in Arvada. This is a perfect example of how Democrats follow the idiocy of far-left ideology, Marxism, which ultimately leads to death. The truth is, they love death. They love abortion. They love the idea of culling ranchers' herds, even the idea that humans would die. Remember the Marxist ideology of Mao, whom they adore? You have to crack some eggs to bake a cake. Faith, the history teacher. As a veteran teacher, it reminds me of when George W. Bush pushed No Child Left Behind. Don't worry, guys. It's been 25 years, and educators and students are still paying the price for that nonsense policy. You should never put decision-making in the hands of people who pay no price for the results of the decision. Faith, that's a lot of the Democrat lawmakers on a daily basis down at the state capitol. They never actually have to deal with the results of their decisions, but that is astute. And that was part of the problems here, right? If you're living in an apartment complex in, downtown Denver, well, and you just love the idea of wolves running around free up in the mountains, yeah, you don't have to pay a price at all. You get to feel good. Your feelings keep you warm at night.
And I think that's part of why I go back to them violating one of those tenets about not reintroducing predatory wolves into the ecosystem, those that have already preyed on livestock. Because that person living downtown in the apartment or the condo or living in Boulder, that was one of the assurances that was supposed to make them feel safe and good about this program going forward. And when the people implementing the program violate that, it makes it harder for those people that, again, yes, they weren't directly impacted by it, but they felt, now again, right or wrong, but they felt that these type of guardrails would make it acceptable for them and hopefully for the larger portion of the state. Then when that guardrail is broken, they have a harder time supporting it. So yeah, I can see the point.
Text message from 8422. What are the odds if our fearless governor was married to a woman and she had introduced this stupid program? Would people be irate? But most people are quiet because you don't want to be labeled as a homophobe.
Yeah, I would say refer to our previous discussion about Bill Clinton putting Hillary in charge of healthcare. People went nuts over that. They went crazy. So I completely and totally disagree on that one, simply because we have somewhat contemporaneous examples of that happening. And the easiest one is Bill and Hillary. People lost their mind when he put the first lady in charge of healthcare. And it is appropriate. I understand why. That was silly. You don't take someone that is not elected, that's your spouse, and then give them a role of a major revamp of a program.
You can do
like
some
Wolves.
projects, right? Like the anti-bullying stuff that Melania does, the school lunch healthy stuff.
Those are the appropriate programs. Yeah, those type of social programs, etc. But when you get into this type of a Wolf reintroduction or healthcare program, you're getting into legislative and lawmaking activities, and that's not necessarily the role of the first gentleman or first lady of either a state or national. Now, they can have certain causes that they can be really, really involved with, and they may even go down, and it's very difficult when they start lobbying for certain legislation, but they should be, in my mind, more working on that outside of the legislative mechanism, because that's what the spouse is supposed to be doing. So now, you're outside of that.
Mr. Thorpe.
Yeah.
The great hunter, Trump,
is
staring down those wolves, sent a letter via the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services saying, you guys clearly can't do this. I'm stepping in, and me stepping in may result in just a little bang, bang, boom, boom, no more wolves. All right, so you're a CPW, or let's say you're Marlon Reese at this point, okay? Yeah. You're staring down that. The guy that led this program just resigned. The people of Colorado, generally, I think voters are going, it was a nice try. You got 14 wolves right now to deal with. What do you do with them?
You do exactly what they're doing right now. We're pausing the program and evaluating the results. That's it. Because
Bill, you think that's enough? I think Trump's about to come in.
Yeah, I think it is, because because politically it's more difficult when the state is like, hey, we're trying to get a handle on this. We're trying to make sure this works well. And the feds are like, nope, we're going to come in and just shoot the animals. That is a difficult, because remember the blowback on Kristi Noem and the puppy, and not only that, but that's some other stuff. So the idea of just, we got to just take these animals and shoot them isn't going to be the political win that maybe MAGA thinks it is. Now, MAGA could be cheering hard, but that's not the larger electorate. MAGA still really supports Donald Trump, but he is way underwater in his approval ratings. And this type of idea of, we just got to go out there and shoot the wolves, that may not work, especially if you have examples of some of these wolves not being predatory towards ranch animals. And there are some of them. So that's going to be the hard part, that even if it is a small portion of the wolf reintroduction of that population that's been brought in being a success, it makes it hard for you to go out and go, we obviously got to shoot the ones that works too. This program didn't work at all, but there are a couple of wolves that actually survived. Okay, but we got to shoot them too.
I'm going to go back to Trump saying he could shoot somebody in the middle of Manhattan and no one would hold him accountable.
Oh, no, he wouldn't lose any supporters.
Lose any supporters.
Yeah, and that's different. I said MAGA will cheer him for going in and being the tough guy and shooting all the wolves, but MAGA isn't America.
I don't even think it's MAGA. I think most Coloradans would be like, they're up there creating problems. So here's what I think Polis should do. I think Polis calls the governor of Washington and Oregon, and without notifying anybody, right? They run a secret op in the middle of the night. Those wolves get caught, tranked, put on airplanes, flown up to Washington and Oregon, released up there, and then sometime 6 weeks afterwards, Polis makes the announcement that the wolves have been safely relocated to another place where they will live happily ever after. It's like what you as a parent do when you say, little
Yeah.
fluffy foo-foo has gone to a ranch to spend the rest of her remaining years.
Oh, yeah. And
You lay everybody down gently, and you paint a nice picture that the wolves are off somewhere else, living their best wolf life.
given that that's the story that parents tell their kids, do the voters of Colorado believe it? Do they go, no, you just shot him? Yeah. That's the thing is, that's going to be the question about, wait, but if you were doing this, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you, if it was so important, why did I have to come home from school and find out that my dog ran away? How come I came home from school and my goldfish ran away?
He can make Trump look to be the big bad hunter he is, and we were up against the wall, and I wanted to make sure that they could be safe and live their happy little puppy wolf lives, and they're in a undisclosed location, living their very best. I think everybody would shrug and go back to their daily lives.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be that big of a deal if he did just move him out. But I also think it's going to be a harder case if you can't point to each and every one of these wolves being a predator of livestock. It's going to be harder for them to come in and go, well, we always got to shoot all of them. Well, if they're not all doing the bad thing, why are we shooting all of them? I mean, we don't normally pass judgment on an entire community, even though it's animals, just because one animal is doing one thing. I mean, talk about the idea being that, and I always had a problem with it, was the idea of pit bull bans. Pit bull bans because some of the dogs are bad, all of the dogs are bad. Now, it is absolutely true that an attack by a pit bull is much more likely to have serious injuries, if not fatalities. That is absolutely a given about that dog, but it doesn't mean that dog is always going to be a predator. It has a lot more to do with environmental triggers and how they were raised and things like that. So if you were in favor of a pit bull ban in certain cities, then I can see why you'd be in favor of killing all of the wolves, regardless of their behavior. But if you weren't, if you thought it was a dumb idea to ban an entire breed outright because of the behavior of a few of them, then maybe you don't advocate for shooting all the wolves either.
Text messages coming in. Joan from Lakewood. Bill, you're right. It would be the killer wolf conspiracy of the left.
It would be. It totally would be.
Right,
It would
we'll
be, Joan.
continue.
You're not right.
We got the... Breadman texted it. These are getting funny. Save Tina Peters and shoot a wolf. All right. We'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's Thursday morning. People are tired. They're working hard out there, Bill. Let's lift their spirits with a little You Choose the News.
Yes, it is that time of the morning where we get to make questionable decisions. It's America's favorite fake radio news game show. We call it You Choose the News, simply because the name wasn't taken yet. There were others who tried. But okay, anyway, you know how this works. I go through the interwebs. I find really ridiculous stories about us humans, give them more ridiculous headlines so that we can goof off for a little bit here on KNUS at 6:50 in the morning. Why are we being this irresponsible with valuable web airtime? Well, because those in charge have no idea that we are doing this. So, shh, it's a giant secret. As always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Jeff is in the studio. Gentlemen, here are today's headlines. Headline number 1, like working on a TV show. Headline number 2, excuse me. Headline number 3, new caller. And headline number 4, Mom was right. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Let's always start with Mom is right.
Yes, Mom was right. Yep, should have listened to Mom. It's always fun and games until, well, a steel worker recently found out suffered a catastrophic burn injury in what began as lighthearted horseplay at a Scunthorpe steelworking mill in England when a colleague set fire to him.
Oh, wow.
Yay. Fun. You're burning. Now, what happened was they were goofing around in and around the stuff they were doing, and basically the colleague set fire to a cap of oil and then hurled it toward his buddy, engulfing him in flames. The victim's chest caught fire, and his overalls heated so hard they fused to his skin. Months of excruciating agony and pain, skin graft procedures. Yes. Now, the guy in question, that is the perpetrator, launched a burning cap of oil at the man after similar behavior had been directed at him moments before. Isn't it funny? We're playing with burning oil. Oh, it's stupid. Okay. Now, the guy has just pled guilty to inflicting grievous bodily harm on his coworker and referred to it as utter stupidity and apologized for it. Now, he was swiftly extinguished by his friends patting him down. It was ridiculous. Now, what had happened, though, is that just before this incident, the guy that is eventually pleading guilty, another guy filled a cap with oil, set it on fire, and threw it to his stomach. Now, it did light the front of his overalls on fire. They patted it down. He thought it was so funny that his friends lit him on fire. He tried it as well and seriously injured a coworker. Yep, Mom was right. It's all fun and games till somebody lights themselves on fire.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Goodness.
Like,
playing
how fun we
Monty
are.
Python and
Totally. I know. Playing, hey, which one of us wins the Darwin Award? Alrighty. Okay, Blake, like working on a TV show? Oh, God, excuse me. Or a new caller?
Let's go with the TV show.
Okay, like working on a TV show. Yes, just recently, an English firm, Ventino, sent a questionnaire around to their staff during Christmas time saying, hey, how'd you like to play a game? Maybe something like Survivor? In what is now the company is saying just a fun holiday email, at the time, they were asking employees who they thought should be fired in case the new year didn't go as well. Oh, God. Yes, they were asked to select colleagues they thought should be axed on the basis of several criteria. Should it be done by age? Part-time workers, full-time workers, those with families, those without families, those who they think didn't actually cut the mustard and pull their weight at work. Who should we fire? The company was like, several workers like, no, I'm not going to vote to fire my coworkers. Seems like a little cannibalistic here, and y'all that are running the company suck anyway. But I might add at the end of it. But okay, now the management tried to play it down, saying it was just a fun internal survey. Yeah, isn't it fun when you ask your coworkers who they want to fire? Oh, it's so funny. Just seriously, whose idea was this?
Can we just light each other on fire?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead?
That's it. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to light each other on fire, for Christmas. It's like the Yule log, but better. Yeah. All right. Jeff, final choice this morning, sir. Oh, God, excuse me. Or a new caller. Come on, you know you want to do it.
Yeah, oh, God, excuse me.
Yeah! All right. Now, there is a hot new home trend that is making its way across America during this cold snap that's upcoming, and it comes all the way from Germany. It's called house burping. Yes, excuse me. Basically, it's an old traditional practice in Germany called Lüften. It translates to airing out or ventilate. People will open the windows in their home to get fresh air even when it is super, super cold. In fact, in Lüften, it's better when the air is really cold because it helps the air exchange. Now, house burping, though, the experts say, may actually be good for you. Some people say that it does prevent buildup of mold and contaminants and carbon dioxide over the course of the winter. But of course, how often and how long you keep those windows open is also a problem as well. As you bring more air in from the inside, it does lower those concentrations, and it does circulate new, fresh air inside your house, but it also raises your heating bills and anything else. That kind of action can help Americans, they think, because we spend almost 90% of our time during the winter months indoors. And in case you are curious about what you should do with house burping, you should do it, technically, first thing in the morning, or perhaps after a shower to let all the moisture out, and maybe after cooking, or right before you have people come over to visit because they'll walk in your house and go, "What's that smell?" That's just a personal opinion, but it's kind of what they want to do. Yeah, but they're talking about house burping. So, have you guys, any of y'all, we got a couple minutes here.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Do you guys do house burping at all? Have you thought about it? Have you done it?
No.
You just open all the windows, right?
Yeah, but you want to make you want to do kind of like make sure you get a crosswind.
Crosswind.
So you want to make sure you do it on different sides of the house. Luckily, we've been involuntarily trying this out for a while in our home because one of our children runs a heater in her room when she's cold during the winter, and then opens the window when it gets too hot in her room, rather than turning off the heater. Still not so certain about how science works, but she's passing biology, so I'm just keeping my mouth shut. Just saying.
Jacqueline wants to know what we're taking this morning. 2120. Polis should just buy some acreage and retire with a wolf refuge. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is KNUS.